Our Bitcoin IBIT is now over $100 billion.
I know.
So
not that long ago.
2 years ago, zero.
Yeah.
So,
I know. Well, you weren't always a huge proponent of crypto, as we know.
I
love it now.
But I grow and learn.
I heard you say that on 60 Minutes.
I did.
Yeah. Jim?
Hey, what's going on, Bull Runners? Welcome back to the channel. Ryan Huggins here, aka Win with Ryan. Imagine this. One quiet Sunday morning, a retiree's life savings, over $3 million in XRP, vanishes in seconds from what he thought was an ironclad cold wall. He reaches out for help, only to stare down a shadowy world where 95% of those recovery firms aren't heroes. They're actually predators charging thousands for empty promises while hijackers vanish with your fortune. Sound like a nightmare? Well, it's happening right now. And with crypto hacks spiking 30% this quarter, your stack could be next. Tomorrow, today, or in the next breath that you take without double checking your seed phrase. We're going to go over how to protect yourself deeply on that today. But here's a hidden edge for you that flips the script. In the same chaotic feed, America's Bitcoin reserves just exploded 64% overnight. 127,000 seized Bitcoin locked into that strategic fortress, signaling that the United States is finally treating Bitcoin like digital gold, not a gamble. This isn't just news. This is a wake-up call for you to shield your assets with unbreakable self-custody tricks that we've uncovered, and we'll go over that in a little bit. Plus, we're heading over to X to find out all the breaking news that's happening in the crypto world today. We're going to head over to Altcoin Pro and find out more about Bitcoin strategic reserve for the United States. And as we always say, the dollar is going down. That is why we secure crypto. Well, it's making it even worse now that we have this battle with China for the rare earth export. It is accelerating the dollar's collapse. Plus, we're going to check in with XRP's charts. We're going to be looking at areas of important resistance and support you need to know about right now. Plus, we'll be taking a look at the long-term momentum wave and the short-term momentum wave. Got some positive news popping out today. And so much more in today's video. So if you're like most people where you don't have the opportunity to spend hours a day doing crypto research, well, that is what we do for you on this channel every single day. So make sure you subscribe right now. And if you are still feeling bullish about this current bull run, let us know by commenting 777 down below.
Do you love crypto, but are you worried about taxes shrinking your retirement nest egg? Here's the deal. Trading and selling crypto can trigger capital gains taxes, eating into your wealth. A crypto IRA fixes that. Per IRS publication 590B, traditional IRA gains like those from crypto aren't taxed until distributed. That's why we've partnered with iTrust Capital, a leading crypto IRA company in the USA, to sponsor today's video. And they offer institutional grade custody for retail clients that want to set up their crypto IRAs for retirement, leveraging top storage solutions like Fidelity, Wells Fargo, and Coinbase Prime to keep your assets secure. To get started, simply click the link in the description of this video, sign up for free, and fund your account with cash. They also offer 401k rollovers or crypto transfers, and you can trade 24/7 with just 1% transaction fees and no maintenance costs. As always, I'm not a CPA or financial advisor, so consult one for tax advice, and we do earn a commission if you sign up using our link below to fund your crypto IRA account, but that helps support value-based videos like this. And iTrust Capital already has over 200,000 crypto IRA accounts and over $14 billion in transactions, proving they're trusted by smart investors just like you. So click the link below, get started now by funding your account today, and let's create generational wealth together.
First things first, we're heading over to CoinMarketCap. Check out the overall health of the crypto market today. We are trading at $3.68 trillion total market cap. We are up 1.12% in the last 24 hours. We have only had $135 billion worth of trading volume in the last 24 hours. Fear and Greed Index continues to slip down to 27. We are in fear zone. Altcoin Season Index also slipping severely, 26 out of 100. Bitcoin dominance at 58.9%, continuing to climb. Last week was an absolute bloodbath in the ETF tracker for Bitcoin. Outflows of $1.236 billion. Ethereum faring much better, but also with an outflow of $303 million. We'll continue to keep you updated on the ETF tracker. Top 6 cryptos by total market cap. Number 1, Bitcoin at $108,000. Ethereum at number 2 at $39.59. Tether at number 3 at $1. BNB at number 4 at $1,105. XRP at number 5 at $2.37, and Solana at number 6 at $1.86. As we saw in the intro of the video, Larry Fink coming around to Bitcoin, of course. BlackRock CEO, Bitcoin is now over $100 billion. 2 years ago, it was just zero. And of course, we're talking about Bitcoin's IBIT ETF, which we were just talking about. Just this one Bitcoin ETF has over $100 billion of assets under management. The reporter in the interview says, "You weren't always a huge proponent of crypto, as we know." He said, "No, but I grow and learn." And that's why you guys are geniuses for being here. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you smash that thumbs up button. What you need to watch out for over the next couple of days, over $17 billion worth of Bitcoin shorts are on the verge of liquidation if Bitcoin rallies just 15% from its current levels. As we can see to the upside, these are shorts in the market right now, severely over leveraged shorts, where if price continues to go up, liquidates all of these. And as you know, the market makers love to eat up all the liquidity they can. Liquidity to the downside for longs doesn't look very heavy right now. Brian Armstrong from Coinbase says, "A common misconception is that crypto is too expensive for new people. You don't need to buy a full Bitcoin or a full Ethereum to get started. You can start by buying and holding crypto with just a few dollars. It's never too late." And speaking of dollars and Bitcoin and crypto, Jack comes out and says, Jack Dorsey, of course, says Bitcoin is money. And that's in response to Jamie Selects with his posting, "Channeled my inner J. Tud Hope today at the Folsom Farmers Market and sold every square seller on Bitcoin payments." Now, if you're not aware, if you are a transaction receiver at, for example, a farmer's market, if you've ever gone to a farmer's market and you hand over your card, they got that little fob thing where they can take your payment. Well, Square now accepts Bitcoin payments directly, and Jack is very excited about that being the case. Also, he went on to say, just an hour later, Bitcoin is not crypto. Because remember, Jack's whole purpose for Bitcoin, in his personal opinion, is that Bitcoin is money. You weren't be able to transact with Bitcoin, not just hold on to it forever. He goes as far to say that if Bitcoin is not being used for transactions, there's no real use case for Bitcoin. With all the turmoil and the craziness and the unknown of what's going on in the markets, the market cycle image has been going around everywhere on the internet again. So the question is, where are we in your personal opinion? So let's hear it. Now, you may have seen this before. As far as the market cycle image here, you have accumulation, trend emergence, momentum building, first sentiment extreme. So people at this high think it's time to take profit. The bear trap happens. Renewed optimism. We're definitely not there yet. FOMO. We didn't ever have the FOMO. We didn't ever get to euphoria, in my personal opinion. Obviously, we had a nice run up in November, but nothing spectacular. But some people are saying that we are already through euphoria. We had a pullback, then we just had the lower high, and we're currently sitting in the breakdown mode. Fear and capitulations coming next, and then the bottom finish all the way into despair. So let me know in the comments, where do you think we are? As you heard in the intro, we talked about this gentleman who lost $3 million worth of his XRP, which he thought was in a cold wallet. Not sure if you guys have been following along on this. I've gone through this whole thread here from Zach XBT. Now I'm going to cover with you because this is something that we preach over at Altcoin Pro University. In fact, in our classroom section, we have an entire module dedicated to ironclad crypto security workshop. And it is very, very thorough, very, very detailed to make sure that you're not losing any money. You're not getting involved in any scam scenarios. We have an entire 25-minute video on scams, how to set up a Trezor wallet, whatever you need to know about crypto security, we've got you covered. And if you even had more questions, you can come into our community section here and ask a question by writing your question right here. But this thread is pretty quick, so let's go ahead and go through it. So you probably did see this because the gentleman who lost $3 million, his retirement was stolen out of his cold wallet, but actually was a hot wallet, and it went viral on YouTube. He was using the wallet called Elipal wallet. The gentleman who lost $3 million seems inexperienced and does not provide enough details to determine how the Elipal wallet became compromised, besides it being user error. The attacker who stole the money created 120 plus Ripple to Tron orders via Bridgers on October 12th, 2025. On Block Explorer, the transactions actually show as Binance since Bridgers, formerly SWFT, uses them for liquidity. The funds consolidated on the Tron network at the following addresses. By October 15th, the funds were completely gone already, away through over-the-counter transactions adjacent to Huey1, which is an illicit online marketplace in SEA. Huey1 has directly facilitated laundering billions in illicit funds over the past couple of years from pig butchering scams, investment scams, human trafficking, hacks, exploits, all based out of Southeast Asia. In fact, last week, the United States applied additional restrictions against Huey1 in relation to a $15 billion Prince Group seizure and sanctions. He went on to say, I hope centralized exchanges and stablecoin issuers implement stricter controls as they're one of the bigger threats impacting longevity of our space. And what he means by that is when you hear this story of someone losing their whole entire life savings, their whole entire retirement, it really prevents people from wanting to ever even dip their toe or get started with crypto at all. Now, what happened here is the user did get confused of what a hot wallet versus a cold wallet is because EliPal offers both on their same platform. He goes on here to say one lesson our industry needs to do better is not causing confusion with products when you offer both custodial and non-custodial products. The XRP victim thought that they were using EliPal's cold wallet product when, in fact, it was using the hot wallet. And EliPal has responded to this saying, we've been in direct contact with the user and have been doing everything possible to assist. After investigating, we confirmed that the loss occurred because the cold wallet seed phrase was imported into the app, which turned into a hot wallet. EliPal's cold wallet remains 100% air-gapped and offline, and there's been no case of theft from an EliPal cold wallet. We take every report seriously and always respond with full transparency. So unfortunately, the gentleman did make a mistake doing this. And if you're not sure who Zach XBT is, by the way, he is literally the best internet sleuth when it comes to crypto, finding these types of scenarios out and tracking down wallets, where the money went. Obviously, he's not a federal agent or something like that, so he can't really retrieve the funds, but he can point the agents in the right direction. It says here, frequently I see large Coinbase support impersonation thefts where victims transfer funds from their Coinbase exchange to a compromised Coinbase wallet after being socially engineered. And when we go back to Altcoin Pro, this is actually one of the topics that we do cover inside of our security purposes here. Phishing and social engineering scams, fake websites, impersonators, etc. You do have to be very careful in this day and age. And he goes on here, the XRP victim mentioned later in the video that he could not quickly get in touch with the United States law enforcement for the $3 million theft. In general, the Netherlands, Singapore, United States, France, etc. have been better jurisdictions for victims to work with the investigation, but ultimately it depends on who the assigned person is to that case. And he goes on to say that another lesson here is that 95% of recovery companies are predatory and charge large amounts for basic reports with few actionable insights. I found that firms who optimize for SEO tend to be predatory, meaning like if you Google search, I lost my crypto, how do I get it? Those are the ones that are going to pop up because they're optimized for SEO and they're not actually going to help you. They're just going to steal more of your money. Bad firms would have stopped tracing this XRP theft at the Binance scenario that we talked about earlier and have created the report saying, contact Binance, when in reality, the service was Bridgers, which is what we talked about earlier, or they would have just failed to identify addresses linked to Huey1 in the first place. You cannot press a magic button for the funds to be returned. There's many external variables out of anyone's control, so you need to understand that retaining a form is just about improving your odds for potential of any recovery. And the sad news in this whole case, unfortunately, the likelihood of this victim seeing any funds recovered is rather low due to the delay in reporting and the theft to competent people within a private sector. He says, I recommend victims try to report theft addresses to people as soon as possible, as otherwise it can be difficult to detect that a theft even took place. Wrapping up, he says, I always try to reply to people who contact me about verified recent thefts, 250,000 or more, to at least instruct them to report and flag addresses. However, it becomes quite difficult when you receive 30 plus inbounds per day. So this is obviously like he's world famous for being able to help people, but this is crazy. 30 people a day contact him stating that their crypto wallets have been compromised. So again, like I said, this is important. It is an entire module that we have at Altcoin Pro University. The link is down in the description. Join today. Go through this module right here. We do have a 14-day money-back guarantee. So after you go through it, if you've learned everything you need and you just think you're done, that's totally fine. Or you can go through and learn all the other classes that we have there for you inside the system. Plus, we also have altcoin picks, DeFi yield picks, airdrops, and we have market updates every other day. And speaking of market updates, let's jump into that. Let's get to some positive news here. State of Bitcoin reserves. American Bitcoin pile grows 64% overnight. This is a report from our top analysts over at Altcoin Pro. The United States Department of Justice has seized 127,000 Bitcoin worth about $15 billion from Chen Zi, the chairman of Cambodia's Prince Holding Group. The signal seizure increased the U.S. Strategic Bitcoin Reserve, or SBR, to 64% overnight, taking total holdings from 325,000 to 452,000, now valued at roughly $52 billion. You may be wondering, well, what the heck did this guy do? Well, Chen Zi is accused of running a massive criminal network that included forced labor scam compounds, online gambling, and a global money laundering through Prince Holding Group. Investigators say that they found Chen's Bitcoin wallet keys in his personal cloud storage, which allowed the DOJ to take control of the funds. So again, this is another scenario here, ladies and gentlemen. Never store your keys, never take snapshots of them, screenshots of them. I mean, you're probably not someone who, the government's going after, but anybody can be scammed. That is also why you should never brag about how much money you make in crypto. You always want to be a little bit on the safe side or anonymous side and not tell people how much crypto you hold, because then people will try to find your crypto. In March of 2025, Trump signed an executive order requiring that the United States Treasury keep all seized Bitcoin as part of the new strategic Bitcoin reserve instead of selling it at auction. And this is meant to position Bitcoin as a form of digital hard money similar to gold for the United States. Now that we hold $52 billion worth of Bitcoin, that equals about 3.5% of the United States gold reserves in value, showing how serious the government is about integrating Bitcoin into the national reserves. You may be wondering, well, why does this matter though? Well, the US government is now the second largest Bitcoin holder in the world, right behind MicroStrategy, which currently holds 640,000 Bitcoin. The DOJ is no longer selling seized Bitcoin and choosing to hold it long term. Bitcoin, once seized as an alternative to the government money, is now becoming part of the government's own balance sheet. There has been a warning that has come out from Nick Carter about this. Not everyone sees this as good news. In a recent essay for Bitcoin Magazine, investor Nick Carter warned that the strategic Bitcoin reserve could actually encourage the government to seize more Bitcoin through civil asset forfeiture instead of returning the funds to victims. If you convince the government that Bitcoin is valuable, you don't get to choose how they get it. They'll do whatever is most convenient and efficient and just basically steal it from you like they did on this one. This is how they seized it, right? They hacked in to this guy's computer. Yes, he was a very bad guy, a villain, but they hacked his computer. They found his cloud storage. They found his keys, and they just took the money. Carter says that they might impose a price cap and require citizens to convert their Bitcoin to the treasury, like the gold confiscation of 1933. Take Bitcoin held by the United States exchanges or custodians, nationalize mining operations, or force people to pay capital gains taxes on Bitcoin. Invest in quantum computing to target older and insecure wallets. And this actually brought up the fact that Satoshi Nakamoto, they say that no one knows him. His wallet is eventually going to be actually vulnerable because once we get to quantum computing, if this guy is dead or no longer existing, or they want to say that, even though it's probably the NSA who actually created it, they want to say this wallet is unattainable. Well, if someone can attain Satoshi's crypto, it would be someone like the United States government that would want to confiscate that. If it's a choice between buying 1 million Bitcoin or $1 trillion or confiscating it, they'll pick the cheaper option. So a great report there by Curious Jay, one of our top analysts over at Altcoin Pro. Now, as you all know, we're currently in a war with rare earth export scenario with China. China's rare earth mineral export controls prohibit the sale of the critical minerals to the United States military industrial complex, which backs the value of the dollar through military force, Groman told Marty Bent, founder of Truth for the Commoner. The export controls prompted United States President Trump to announce additional 100% tariffs on China and revealed that China has a lot more leverage than a lot of the Western commentators are admitting. If you mess with the monetary side of the rules-based global order, the US would send the military over to kick your head in. This is a big part of why Saddam was invaded, a big part of why Gaddafi was doing as well. Here's what it means for Bitcoin and hard money assets. Groman touted Bitcoin as one of the hard money assets that can save ailing economy, meaning the prices of gold and Bitcoin will continue to rise in the face of currency inflation as individuals and businesses adopt Bitcoin to protect their purchasing power. The US dollar is now on track to have its worst year since 1973, down over 10% year to date. And the US dollar has lost 40% of its purchasing power since 2000. So we'll have to continue to keep a very close eye on this scenario with the US and China. All right, heading over to XRP in the charts, a couple of very important things that we have that is positive news. We're currently sitting on the daily charts. We are currently looking at the Heikinashi candles. And yesterday's candle close ended up being a green Heikinashi candle, indicating a potential trend reversal, which would be an upward momentum trend reversal, which is fantastic. We can see last time we were heading down all red. We finally turned green. We did have a nice push up from $2.80 all the way up to $3.08. In that same exact time, our short-term momentum had reset to zero, which was completely red at the flat bottom, then turned over to green and started making its way to the upside. We are starting to see that same exact scenario happen right now on a short-term momentum. It had reset to zero, and it is starting to turn green and heading back up to the 100 level. Long-term momentum, however, is still bearish. We are below the zero line on our Wolfpack indicator. We are red instead of green, which indicates bearish. Now, we do have one other positive sign here. We have a green arrow up on our Wolfpack indicator.
If you have 10K or more in crypto, you're literally giving up an extra $300 per month in passive income. You're giving up on a free 3 to 8% additional monthly yield just because it's sitting on an exchange like Coinbase or Binance and you're being lazy. You're taught to hodl, just wait for price appreciation, and this is costing you thousands of dollars. So let's see what happens here. While your assets are sitting there doing absolutely nothing and inflation is kicking your ass. For example, Ethereum didn't do anything over the course of 3 months. XRP didn't do anything over a whole year. And Solana, same thing. It didn't do anything for an even longer period of time while you sat there making no money. And I'm not saying that these are bad investments. It's quite the opposite, actually. But the smartest investors in the world make their crypto work for them to generate additional yield. And why would you not do that? You're holding these crypto assets anyways. It's like buying a rental property and not renting it out. If you hold on to the property because you believe that it's going to appreciate in value over years, why wouldn't you rent it out so someone else can pay your mortgage while you still get the value appreciation? So it makes no sense to just hold your crypto without earning yield on your idle coins. And if you're just holding your crypto on exchanges like Coinbase, your assets aren't safe. In fact, Coinbase was hacked for $400 million and the hackers bribed Coinbase employees so they could access sensitive user information, demanding a $20 million ransom from Coinbase, which the company refused to pay.
I want to make you aware of a disturbing email that we received recently at Coinbase. It was a ransom note demanding $20 million in Bitcoin in exchange for these attackers not releasing some information they claim to have obtained on our customers. I'm going to respond publicly to these attackers by saying no. We are not going to pay your ransom.
And I even received a letter in the mail saying that my information was included in that hack. So I'm speaking from firsthand experience here, not just an article that I read online. So not only are you leaving free money on the table by not earning yield on your idle crypto, but you're also putting yourself at risk of losing it all, getting hacked, or having your account frozen by keeping your crypto on centralized exchanges. Because if it's not your keys, it's not your crypto. You already know this, so I don't have to tell you. You can't afford to be lazy with your capital. The US is drowning in nearly $40 trillion in debt, so this is your insurance against the system. To learn how you can earn passive income on your coins every single day while protecting your capital from hacks or scammers, my research team put together a step-by-step tutorial for you to start earning yield on your crypto today, and it takes less than 10 minutes to get set up. All you need to do is go to altcoinpro.com after you're done watching this video, create your account, and click on the Start Here lesson under the classroom, and you'll discover how one liquidity pool is earning our members up to 40% yield on digital assets that they already own. Plus, you can go into the DeFi yield picks and see even more opportunities to earn passive income on your coins, safe and predictably, with complete control and ownership of your assets. You will make significantly more money by being your own bank. And all you need to do is go to altcoinpro.com to get started right now.